Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us for this segment, we have Matt Peron, director of research at Janus Henderson Investors. We're going to take a look at the final 4 months of the year and how investors should be positioned. Matt, it's great to see you again. Welcome back to Trade Talks.
Thanks for having me, Jill.
And Janus Henderson, you come out with a global dividend index every quarter. What does the latest index relay about the state of dividend paying companies?
I would say, in a word, strength. There was strength globally. The U.S. has been strong, really not taking much of a hit during the pandemic, but the rest of the world did. And they rebounded very, very robustly last quarter. But the whole global dividend story was quite strong.
What were the sectors that led the way the second quarter?
It was mostly energy companies, as you would expect, given oil prices, and financials who returned to their pre-pandemic dividend-paying pattern. They are generating a lot of cash flow now, so they were the source of strength mostly in those two sectors. Most of the growth, I'd say 80%, came from those two sectors. And I want to say that from a global perspective, dividends were up strongly, but in the U.S., even though we had been chugging along, we were still up 8% in the quarter.
Do you expect this trend to continue?
I do. I think next year will continue because earnings we expect to continue. Now the pace will certainly slow down and start to align more with earnings. We do see some risk to earnings growth, so there might be some caution. There could be some softness, but we don't think we'll be back into dividend cutting mode anytime soon.
So I guess the question is, believe it or not, we're coming into the last 4 months of the year. 2022, which has been a tumultuous year, certainly has flown by. How should investors best position their portfolios?
We think you should stay invested, but we do think there's still more choppy waters ahead. So stay defensive with your allocations, stay in less economically sensitive sectors. You can stay in energy, though, because that will probably be strong. But think healthcare, think perhaps real estate. But so stay defensive, but stay invested. We're not out of the woods yet. But you want to make sure your portfolio is strong to withstand some choppiness.
All right, Matt, we appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq.